So today I turned 22, and this short little video is just going to be, documenting my time, the big highlights throughout the past year. So let's see. When I turned 21, I was really happy to have legalized my first startup called GoalTac. It was a social media platform to help people hold each other accountable through goals, like, sharing their long-term goals and giving each other, a little bit of motivating push. So I had been working on that product for maybe 6-7 months, never talked to users. I did all of the first-time founder mistakes, including, creating that LLC that I didn't need to do because I had no users, I had no business model, I had, none of that I should have had. So there was that, but that didn't change how happy I felt because that gave me the illusion that I had made some significant progress in my business journey, in my startup journey, creating that LLC. So there was that. September rolls around, I have my first mentor meeting with someone who's actually confronting, my failures in talking to users and understanding the market, all that stuff. So then from September to December, I would talk to hundreds of users, like every month, having interviews all the time, working 100 hours a week, pivoting from one like customer segment to the next to try to get this GoalTac idea of a social media platform for accountability and fit it into different, use cases. So I remember working with academic advisors from all over Connecticut. I got like 12 people. I talked to 12 people and tried to make GoalTac into, we have an academic advisor who is advising these students and trying to help them, go along or improve their grades and stuff. But that was very hard to execute. I could go into it, but basically one of the issues is that it's not the students that are coming into their offices that's the problem, but it's the students who aren't coming into their offices because they don't have the incentive. They don't really care enough to improve their grades, and I definitely see that. So that was one pivot, and there were many pivots like that. I remember working with club leaders for their club members, and that was a mess too. So I tried that from September to December, and then from there I started on this idea called Menumizer. It was like a short little project break in between two major startups. So December to January, a little bit into February, I created this project called Menumizer with a friend, very into AI, machine learning, that stuff. So we created this mobile application that would scan menus at restaurants. So you download this mobile application. You could scan these physical menus that are in front of you if there's too many choices. It would help you pick out the menu options that you would most prefer, so that you don't have to spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes looking through all these options and deciding based on price and looking on Google for the pictures and all that stuff. So we had that. It fell through though. One, because the AI part wasn't being done, and two, because we decided to go into the startup accelerator. We were accepted into the first initiation phase, where we would spend the next 3-4 months developing out our idea and finally have that compared, like our success on that idea compared to the other people in that initiation batch, to be to join the official summer cohort. And I didn't get accepted into that. But yeah, from February until I'd say May, I worked on a new networking application, or something that involved helping people make friends, helping people network and make meaningful connections. I worked on that with Adi Chandrakar. Sorry. Go back to the Menumizer thing. I stopped working on that after going to this startup accelerator, because the program leader suggested that we do something and play to our strengths, because we're not people who have been involved in the restaurant industry. So that's why we pivoted into this making connections, and because that's something I'm genuinely passionate about. That's what I've done, create communities online, right? With the Minecraft server that I did between 17, 18, 19 years old. So then Adi and I, we had a lot of ideas. We had a lot of mini projects. We pivoted maybe like 6-7 different times. We hosted networking events. We hosted casual meetups, accountability groups in person. We hosted, we created this web application for, for people to show off the events, their club events at on campus. So like people who would download this or go to this web application would see all the events that are ongoing at specific locations on campus at any time, or see any future planned events. So we had that going. And at another point, we were also working with some of the institutions at UConn to help bring more students to their events and programs. So we spent 3 weeks or so like really dedicated towards helping them achieve that goal, because they told us, hey, we have a really big problem with students not coming to these events, and we would love to have a solution. But I never asked them how much they'd be willing to pay for it, you know? And when I finally was able to get in contact with, I think she's associate director of this one particular institution that was our lead, she wasn't willing to give a penny. Like, even if it meant getting 200 people to go to the events and programs that the institution hosted, she wasn't willing to pay a cent, even 1 penny. Like, that didn't make sense to me. I re-clarified, is this what you really want? Like, are you really not willing to pay 1 penny to get 200 people? Like, if I could do that for you overnight. And she said no. So that was really confusing. But what it came down to is they don't get penalized at all for not getting students to join their events. All they have to do is host the events. They don't really care if there's not that many people who are joining. Obviously they say they do, but it's how much they're willing to actually put, how much money they're actually willing to put. It's almost like we have the administration who is in charge of the budget, and we have the staff, and the staff definitely care. They want to get more people involved, but the people who have the power, you know, the people who hold the budget or dictate the budget, they don't really care. So there's some bureaucracy there. It's difficult to get into the educational industry. That was, I believe, March, April, around that time. Yeah. And I graduated after that. All I had was a Discord server with 20 people who were quickly going inactive. I had hosted some networking events. I didn't have any software. My co-founder and I were breaking off because we weren't going to be working in person anymore. For a short period of time, I had one other co-founder, but things didn't go through because we had planned to move to New York, where his new job would be, but his new job suddenly relocated him across the country. So I wasn't willing to go to where he was. But I decided to move to Austin, Texas, which is pretty much halfway across the country anyways. And that would come in July. So we have this period between graduation, which was in May, to July. And during that period, I tried some other projects, some other ideas, in like how can I help people make friends more easily. I had some ideas. I had the idea of creating an accountability application for entrepreneurs to track their journey. And I was stuck on that for about a month and a half until I took a look at the competition and I wasn't differentiating much. And I didn't really think about the revenue model that much. I talked to some users, but the users were more interested in person, like real communication face to face. I couldn't really see the vision for it. So July 2nd, I arrived to Austin. I've been working on this idea for about a month now. This new idea, audio-based networking where you connect with local people in audio rooms before meeting up in person. The premise of the idea was that we wanted to lower the barriers to meeting strangers. So it's easier to make friends around you. We're focusing on local community, there wasn't much of a sense of community then, but there is now. So we're focusing on local, making friends, real communication, and in small groups, because people feel more at ease when talking in groups, like small groups, rather than one-on-one or in a group of 10 or 20 people where it's easy to feel lost in the crowd. So groups of 5 in one audio room, local to them, over a specific topic. And yeah, I worked on that from June to mid-July. And I recently pivoted out of that for good reason. There's still a lot of a high barrier to connecting with people. Like, audio isn't for everyone. And there wasn't any sense of community. And community is really important. See, the product I was creating worked only on like instances when we host events. And that'd be really tough to get going. It didn't solve the problem the way, or it wouldn't be able to solve the problem really well. All it did was host these audio events. And then people could potentially meet up. But I went a step further and I integrated that audio, that local focus, into something with communities. So what I'm creating now is kind of like a mix between Discord, Meetup.com, and Pokemon Go, which is crazy. It's a weird combination. So Discord, I'm not sure if you guys know what Discord is. People who are my age should. It's basically an online platform for people to create casual communities. It originated in the gaming community, and now it's for like schools and school classes, all that stuff. I think about 40% of the user base is Gen Z. So it's like and you have real-time chat and real-time audio. So that's Discord. Meetup.com. I was really surprised that not a lot of Gen Z knew about it, but Meetup.com is basically an online platform where meetup organizers, like people who want to host casual events, can post that, like the time, date, location, under their organization name. And people who are looking to meet like-minded people would take interest in RSVP to these meetup events online and show up in person. So that's meetup.com. Pokemon Go, it's kind of hard to explain Pokemon Go. It's basically, I hope you know what Pokemon is, or Pokemon, however you pronounce it. In Pokemon Go, it's AR, so augmented reality. You go around the world, and your location is tracked in this mobile application where Pokemon can show up anywhere you walk to, and you can catch those Pokemon with something called Pokeballs. Very gamified experience. It gets people out, meeting in person, because it's just fun to collect more of these Pokemon around the world. So what I'm doing is combining all of those three in a user experience that makes it a lot easier to meet people naturally. Instead of Pokestops, which are these location markers in Pokemon Go where you can walk up to in the real world and click on to get like digital items and stuff like that. So instead of those Pokestops, we have location markers where you can like sit down, it might be a coffee shop, and log your the time that you've stayed, so that you can contribute levels to your community. And so your community can then like upgrade its cosmetic and show to other people that, oh, we're this community and we stay at this location a lot and we're at this level, which means that we're here often. It's kind of like a competition between local communities for who stays at where longer. There's multipliers on how many people stay in one spot. So for every additional person, you get 1.2 times the amount of points that contribute to the community's level towards that location. And we also have the Discord part, which is the casual community, right? So you could still have asynchronous chat channels. So you post a chat, and then 5 hours later, someone could look at the channel and see that you sent a chat message 5 hours ago. Same thing as iMessage or WeChat. Is it called WeChat or WhatsApp? So we have asynchronous messaging. We have synchronous audio calling, so you can hear people call in real time. Everything is navigated through a globe, so that's pretty cool. I'd say, like, with all these features, it's helping people, alleviate the pressure and the barrier to actually meeting in person. So I think it's very important to have all of these. In our MVP, we probably won't have, like, let's see. There's a lot I have planned. But I think what's most important is the community part, the local part, the like chat, audio, all that stuff, the gamification.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Oh, that's Siri. Dude, they're listening. Anyways, so year-long review, and where I am right now. I made a lot of progress since coming to Austin. I'm not sure if I'm still going to be in Austin a year from now. We'll see. Maybe I'll be in San Francisco. Maybe I'll have created my own or bought my own building. Maybe I have employees. Maybe I decide to get a 9-to-5 job while I work on my startup. Maybe it's none of those. Maybe I'll be dead. I don't know. Hopefully not. I think I have a lot more to contribute. But I'll end off with one of my goals. And for the people who know me, I think you already know what I'm about to say, but one of my goals is to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25 years old. And the reason why I want to and why I picked $1 million, it's not what I can spend the $1 million on. It's what it means. It's how I've earned it. Like, it wouldn't feel justified at all if one of my family members died and $1 million landed in my lap, I would want to have earned it through something meaningful with my own hands. So there's a sense of maybe independence there. That's also part of the reason why I moved to Austin. Like, being able to earn my way and not have it given to me. There's a sense of independence. There's a sense of, like, I've actually done something to help the world, and $1 million is how much value that my creation has provided to other people. Like, the amount of meetups I've organized or helped facilitate is directly correlated to how much revenue is generated through my startup. Because in order for people to create their own communities, well, at first it's $10 a month, but if you want to upgrade your community to global reach and have all these other extra benefits, like being able to have user profiles in different areas around the world so you get to connect with the local community, like stuff like that. So some of these ideas that I brainstormed, those will be extra fees, but the whole point of them is to help people connect with their local community and make friends. So being able to make money through that means a lot to me. It means that, I've been successful in working towards that mission, this mission that I've been really passionate about for, the past few years, or maybe the past 5 years since starting my Minecraft server too. So yeah, I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25 years old. I think I'll definitely get there, and it's going to be a long journey. Maybe by the time I turn 23, I'll have facilitated maybe 10,000 meetups. 10,000 meetups is crazy. That means 10,000 people, or 10,000 different people have connected with someone. Wait, so if we have 2 people for every connection in 10,000 meetups, that's 20,000 people. But oh yeah, okay, we could get into the math, whatever. 10,000 meetups. Yeah, that'd be great. But man, we're at 23 minutes now. This has gone on longer than I expected. But I'm glad I didn't stutter. That happens so often. And yeah, this is where I'll end it. 22 years old. I'm getting old. 18 years old wasn't that long ago. Now I'm on the next chapter of my life. 4 years in high school, 4 years in college, 4 years out here surviving on my own. Although I am with my dad at his house. I've kind of been kidnapped here. I only expected to stay here for 1 day, but they surprised me and said that I'm going to be staying here for 5 days. And oh well, I guess. I have to reschedule some meetings, but other than that, I'm still going to be working. I love working on this. Like, this is my dream. Just doing this 100 hours a week. Fun stuff. Anyway, thanks for listening, if you have been. And I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow. I might send a startup vlog update. We'll see.